Hello, everybody, and welcome to the newest episode of your favorite podcast, Arcade Parlor. That was... it's getting worse, guys. It's getting worse.
I thought it was pretty good for, like, my second time ever. First time as a host. I thought it was, you know what? C+.
C plus. Our Arcade Parlor, the C plus podcast.
Hey, C's get degrees.
There you go. C's get degrees. Welcome, everybody. It is today's date is April 1st. Happy April Fool's Day to everybody, all the clowns out there. Happy April Fool's Day. It is 3:13 p.m. Eastern. We are doing this recording. I am your host, Pancho Taco, also known as David. I am joined here. I'll start with Ashley. Ashley, we are joined by you.
Hello, I am here.
You're here. It's great to have you here.
Well, thank you, Dave. It's great to be here.
How are you doing?
I'm very well today. In case you were wondering, today it is 41 days until Tears of the Kingdom. When this episode releases, it will be 39 days until Tears of the Kingdom. So, we're getting I can officially say it's next month.
Yeah.
It's next month. So I'm doing great.
That's coming up fast.
I know.
I feel like it was just, I don't know. I feel like it was just like over 100 days, just like last week or something like that. It's coming fast.
Yeah. I feel like I blinked my eyes and now it's next month.
Before we go any further, I'm still thinking about something. Right before we hit record, I saw Ashley take this giant mug. Like, this mug is like bigger than her head. I don't know. And just started drinking out of it.
I think you're understating the size of this mug. It is bigger than the state of Wyoming. I have never seen, like, the fact that she's strong enough to even lift it off the table is befuddling to me.
I'm holding it with two hands. I have to two-hand it.
It's huge. Are you drinking coffee out of that?
Oh, yeah. It's 24 ounces of coffee.
You're going to be bouncing off the walls.
I already do.
For the listener, she's holding up to the camera, and I swear it's bigger than her head right now. It's massive, this cup of coffee. Next time you're in Ashley's stream, ask her about her cup of coffee. Ask her about her mug. It's big. Ashley, it's great to have you here.
Thank you.
And your mug.
Thanks.
Great to have both of you. And then we're also joined by some guy who just stuck around apparently in our voice chat for months. Cheese Pops.
It is awesome. I am so excited to be back. I had so much fun, and I could talk about video games and Twitch forever. And I have a theory that that's not actually a mug. That's like the carafe that goes into her coffee maker.
Oh my
She
God.
just colored the outside of it to make it look like a mug and just pulls it out. But yeah, I'm Mike. I'm excited to be here. This is, an honor to join both of you guys, and let's have some fun.
Yeah.
I'm looking right now. That is 24. So hold on, 24 fluid ounces. That is that's like a third of a coffee pot.
Okay, and?
That's a lot of coffee in once. Doesn't it get cold? I'm sorry, Cheese Pop's just like intro, and I'm still stuck on this mug here. I'm still stuck on this. Does it get cold, the coffee? But like, can you even drink it in time?
Yeah, I mean, it's still pretty warm. Because I have to brew twice because my coffee maker is a single cup maker, so it's 12, and then I do the other 12.
Okay.
Everyone's shaking their head at me for the listeners. Everyone's shaking their head at me right now.
Anyway, Mike, it's awesome to have you on here. We did release a trailer, two weeks ago, I think it was. And that was a very fun thing. If anybody has not seen the trailer, go on YouTube, search up Arcade Parlor. We posted a fun video. And actually, believe it or not, that video was our first take, right? Well, it was our first take, right?
Yeah.
We tried to do a second take, And then we were like, it doesn't sound as natural as the first. It's like we're trying to replicate the original, and it sounded like robots.
I wonder how often in movies they just go with the first take like that, or do they just do 500 and just one, like number 447 is the chosen one for some reason. But yeah, like the first take was good, and you're right. As soon as we tried it again, word for word, we're reaching for what we did before. It's like, we're good.
Mm-hmm. And it's like after that first time, we like had this vision of what it had to be, right? What it had to be. And then like as we're going, we're like trying to remember what we said before, and we're totally changing it up without realizing it. It just sounds like robots. But it was a fun trailer. Again, for listeners, if you haven't seen it, youtube.com, go to check out Arcade Parlor on there, and you can follow us on there too. We'll hopefully be able to post some stuff there eventually. That is the plans. But anyway, guys, welcome in. It is April 1st. I feel like a lot has happened. I feel like every time there's always a lot that's happened. There's actually been a lot that's happened since, Mike, you've been on here.
Yes.
A lot has happened. Last time you were on here, you were our third guest? Fourth guest.
Fourth guest.
You were our fourth guest. And... Yeah, fourth guest. Yep, I'm looking it up right here. You were a fourth guest. And back then, you weren't a Twitch partner.
That is true. I know this for a fact. Arcade Parlor was a huge part of like the boost that I needed, because right when you're at that line of Twitch partner, you can apply, but they're like, hey, you need to be more consistent. 75 average isn't enough. You need to make sure even your low streams are at least at 75. And then the amount of extra people from your communities that started popping in and saying hello, people that listen to the podcast or started hanging out, really put me over the edge. And I'm so grateful to both of you inviting me on, letting me run my mouth and be a guest. And now I have the check mark, and I can just go into other chats and flex, and it makes me feel better. No, it's just... It's very little has actually changed, but it's super cool to achieve a goal. You just keep setting them up there. You guys both know with your streams, like, hey, I want to do this, and then you reach it. You have to set another goal like that. But then I'll be honest, not having to worry about averages. Like, you still want to see it grow, so you still worry about the numbers, but not having to, like, if one internet outage isn't going to ruin a month of trying to get there. So I'm super relieved. It is an honor, and it's a 99% luck. You get a big raid here and there. Now you have this, more people popping in. So I'm grateful, I'm blessed, I'm lucky, and just looking forward to keeping this, I call it the worst stream on Twitch alive. So appreciate the kind words.
That's totally awesome, and congratulations. That's it's always awesome to see somebody achieve that. That there's a couple. We've been fortunate enough on the podcast that we've had couple like brand new partners on here, and it's super cool to see that, to get those people to do it. And what I find really cool is that, not to toot our own horn here or anything, but you said that the podcast really helped to push it over, which is like what the vision we had with the podcast is. Obviously, well, we wanted to give some extra content out there for people if they wanted to listen to stuff, and we wanted to introduce people to these other awesome streamers that we know out there, and to see like actual tangible evidence of people checking these new streamers out and stuff that maybe they've never seen before, and it actually happened, and the benefit that came out of it. Like, that's awesome. That's like the vision that we had here. Get these other streamers, get people watching them. Super cool.
Like, super blessed to be a part of it. And yeah, absolutely. That's what it did for me. Like, I met so many people just from this podcast, and like, it's going to continue to grow, and I love that. And Twitch is so weird with that, where most other places you're in competition with each other, but the Twitch community, for the most part, like, hey, how can we build each other up? Because it's still relatively new in the overall scheme of things, and if we work together to like grow viewership for everyone else, like what's that phrase? I can't think of it. Like the rising tide, something boats also rise with it, or something. It's an economics thing I learned in 7th grade. I forgot. But like, I love the fact that if Poncho Taco's stream blows up and does better, that means my stream's going to do better too. And I love that we all work together to grow at the same time. And so normally, like, oh, drat, this other business is doing better than mine. Doesn't work that way on Twitch. You root for people to get more numbers because that only helps everyone else too. So I love that this is something the podcast does, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
I mean, I have to say, like, I've been watching you for quite a few months now, Mike, aka Cheese Pops, and even since the podcast, even the day your episode came out, I started seeing people that I've known on Twitch for years that were first-time chatters for you, and I was like, this is so beautiful. Like, we're sharing our communities together, and whether you're family friendly or you're kind of in the middle or you're not, like, you know, people like want to share in the joy that streamers bring to them, and it's been really cool to share in that journey with you.
Yeah, that's it's totally cool to see it. It's really awesome, and I'm glad that there is a benefit, because that was kind of the ultimate goal, is, you know, get people on here. I want to meet. I want to talk. I mean, you talk to people in chats. Yeah, you kind of get to know them, right? It's mostly a one-sided conversation, but get to know these people. Hear their stories and stuff. It's incredible, and it's a really cool opportunity for all of us to be able to do something like this and to have future guests on. Which, speaking of which, we should talk about that. Arcade Parlor. This is phase 2. Arcade Parlor phase 2. We all know this is episode 8 now, and we had 7 awesome episodes where we were joined by Bleachy B Jackson, and we all know he's gone on to do some dreams of his own, which, if you guys didn't catch it, check out the previous episode. Plenty of detail there. And now we were left with the thought of, he's gone. What do we do next with the podcast? So once Jackson had let us know a couple months ago, so we were aware of this a while ago. We were like, well, what are we gonna do? Do we just continue, me and Ashley, and try to get a guest on every month? And if we're not guaranteed a guest, we're like, well, there's probably some people we could probably fall back on to help us out with and stuff like that. But I think 3 people minimum makes for a good podcast. And we were like, well, who do we reach out to? We thought about our guests. All of our guests have been amazing. But then we thought back to when we had you, Mike, on here. And we were like, the conversations were the chemistry was so good. We had such a great time. It was like the one episode that sticks out to me where I was like, we didn't have enough time. We could have just kept going and going. So we were like, let's reach out. Let's see if you'd be interested in it. So again, Mike, welcome aboard. We're super happy that you decided to join us, and we're gonna have a great time on here.
You're gonna rock it. I am super pumped. I mean, I could talk about video games and Twitch are like my 2 favorite things. So this podcast, like, you're gonna trust me, you're gonna get used to muting me. Just like mute. Please be quiet for 5 minutes. Ashley is talking now, but I'm gonna enjoy this ride, and I'm so pumped.
Just a little lore behind Bleachy V, aka Jackson. So, and I'll try not to cry. The episode where Cheese Pops was a guest on Arcade Parlor when we still had Bleachy V. Bleachy was a few minutes late that day. He had something going on, and it was just me, Dave Poncho Taco, and Mike Cheese Pops just sitting here in Discord waiting for the call. And I just remember the conversation we were having. It just flowed so beautifully, just the 3 of us, and we were chatting away about video games. And then bringing Jackson and Bleachy B in, it was even better, and we had such a great episode. But I remember, like, I was typing in our Discord chat that we have up, and I was like, hey guys, it's getting to like that 2-hour mark. And I felt like we could have talked forever and ever and ever. Like, it was just so great. And I remember when we ended, that you, Dave, said to Cheese Pops, like, okay, we got to have you back on. Like, it was like unfinished business. So I'm super excited. And I just want to let everybody know quickly. We had mentioned in Bleachy's last episode that, some people had wanted to make him some viewer levels. And, so he did have his last stream, which was amazing. It was March 25th, and a bunch of people made, Bleachy levels to say goodbye. And it was very emotional, but he did have his last stream, and it was awesome. And thank you to everybody that submitted a level for Jackson Bleachy B.
Yes, thank you. And we did definitely leave the door open. When Jackson is back, he's coming back on here. He's got to come back on here for an episode. We gotta see. He's gonna be eating toilet paper too when he comes back.
Absolutely.
The last episode was so amazing, and I loved. Like, I cried in it, and I enjoyed the ride. The story of Jackson was incredible, but there was two things that stood out to me, Poncho, and I kind of want to get these off my chest because I was yelling.
Okay.
I was yelling at the podcast when you were talking about mac and cheese and putting in butter and milk as your secret recipe, your secret. And then Ashley's like, wait, and Bleachy B the same, like, wait, you just followed the direction that's on the box. You're like, yeah, but I did it better than with the box. I'm like, I have never been more proud of you in my entire life. Taking credit for following simple directions was like my favorite. I had tears coming out of my eyes. Just Ashley's voice just going, so you followed the direction. And you're like, yeah, I killed it.
I did.
The pride in your voice, I was so proud of you. And so I actually wrote down a top 5 list of what I believe to be Poncho Taco food hacks.
Oh,
Can I share those with you guys?
My God.
Let's hear it. Oh man.
All right, number 5, toasting Pop-Tarts. You put a Pop-Tart in a toaster and warm it up, it makes it so much better. You guys got to try it. I know you never thought of it. Number 4, you know there's like burgers out there. I'm telling you, you got to try this. Put cheese on the burger.
You better stop.
You will have a cheeseburger. It's really good. Trust me.
Believe it.
You'll never
Game
believe
changer.
it. And then number 3, hot chocolate. Good. Throw in some marshmallows.
Oh,
Marshmallows and a cup of hot chocolate will change your life. Number 2 on my list is, so Thanksgiving, you got your turkey gravy. That gravy is versatile. A little gravy on the mashed potatoes will change your Thanksgiving meal altogether. And number 1, Poncho Taco food hack. No more dry cereal. A little bit of milk in that bowl will make that cereal.
Milk.
Oh my goodness. So that is my top 5 Poncho Taco food hacks. I was laughing so hard.
And he'd be so proud too.
So good.
I would be proud. I'll say the one thing I have not done on there is actually put a Pop-Tart in the toaster.
What?
I actually have never done that. I've only eaten them just straight out of the bag. That's it.
It elevates them. It does.
Not even a
like
microwave?
any flavor? Like any flavor?
Yes.
Even like the, I don't know, strawberry or whatever?
You've been eating a cold Pop-Tart your whole life?
That's why they're
I have.
designed to fit right in the toaster. That is the shape of them.
I've seen them like in the commercials where like they put them in the toaster. I'm always like, I should try that sometime. And I just never have. To be fair, Pop-Tarts, I usually eat them in the car. So I just grab the bag and I leave if I'm eating a Pop-Tart. So I don't usually toast it first.
You never had a gooey s'mores Pop-Tart in your life?
I had that yesterday.
Never have.
I had it It's so good. It melts together. You got to try it.
Oh, I'm calling your wife after this.
Right.
I will make a point to try it before our next episode. A toasted Pop-Tart. What flavor should I get? What do you recommend?
S'mores.
Oh, s'mores.
S'mores
You
for
can
toasting? I guess that makes sense.
You can go the lazy route. I believe on the directions, not that I ate Pop-Tarts like every day for like 15 years, but I believe on the directions it says you can microwave them for all of 3 seconds. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's 3 seconds. It says on the box if you ever get lazy. I do recommend the toaster though. Lowest setting.
I used the air fryer at like 350 for 3 minutes and it was perfect. It was
That's
good.
Adulting right there.
I know. Well, we don't have a toaster because like, I mean, the wife has celiac disease, so we're not a lot of bread in the house, but I couldn't resist. It's worth the risk of her being sick to have Pop-Tarts. So I made the choice. Can we cut that from the podcast?
Nope.
That's it.
Yeah, let me reach out to Greg and I'll have him edit that out in post, okay?
The other thing from the Bleachy V episode that I was crying. I was absolutely crying my eyes out. You were talking about kids playing Legos. You were like, I don't know if they were family members, I can't remember. Yet they were on level 1 of Legos and they couldn't beat it. And I wasn't going to help them. Just your phrase of, I'm not going to help these kids that are stuck on a level. I'm like, this is why we are friends.
I sat there on the couch and they kept being like, Uncle David, can you do this for me? I'm like, no, come on. You can figure, I can see like right there. They just have to like jump up on one little block and that's the solution. And they're there for like 15 minutes, just like, I don't know what to do. And I'm just like, I'm not going to help you. It's right in your face. Just do the thing. Just do it.
I hope you know I had tears coming down my face because that was the right thing to do.
Yeah, I think it was Lego Batman. It was the first level of Lego Batman. I'm like, I've never even played the game and I can blatantly see the solution.
Not helping. Nope. Sorry.
No one helped me, man.
Exactly. No one helped me.
We had limited lives back in the day. Continues
Yes.
that ran out.
Taking damage meant something back in the day.
And how old were they?
Go take one step back. The mac and cheese thing. So one thing I think people really pulled from that. I think people misinterpreted me to a degree. For some reason, there has been a rumor going on out there that I eat mac and cheese just plain raw, like uncooked with the cheese in it. I don't know where this came from. I clearly said I boil the noodles. I cook them and then sometimes just add the cheese, nothing else. But for some reason, there's a rumor going out there that I just eat like crunchy crunchy noodles with powdered cheese, kind of sticking to them, kind of not.
I am going to spread that rumor.
I am going to make you a plaque for your streaming room that says Pancho Taco
right there.
Cooks the noodles. Like
Cooks the
gold
noodles.
star.
Maybe I need to put that as a stream tag. I cook the noodles.
You know now that there's going to be a charity event. If enough money is raised, you are eating dry pasta with cheese powder on it.
With the powder. Oh, so gross.
I have. Okay, I'm going to admit something. Today, I made Kraft mac and cheese. I did it the correct way, my way, of the milk, the butter, and I'm not going to lie, I did take one raw noodle and I did eat it. Because it fell out onto the counter while I was pouring it into the thing. One noodle fell out and I was like, let me eat it. And it wasn't as, it was crunchy, don't get me wrong, but it broke a lot easier than other pastas I've had. Like, you know, have you ever eaten have you ever just taken a bite off of a raw, like, spaghetti noodle?
Yeah.
We all have done that.
It's weird you say that. Anytime I cook pasta, I always eat one raw. It's like, it's a tradition that I've never thought of. Like, let me eat this one noodle, the one strand. I always do that. And I don't know why, because it's not good.
It's not flavorful. It's just crunch. It gets wedged into your teeth as you eat it. It's not enjoyable in any way, but I do the same thing. If I'm making it, I'll do it. If my wife's making it, and if I happen to be in the kitchen, I'll grab one or something. But otherwise, yeah, I don't know why, but I do it too.
The Italian in me is just so disappointed right now. Like,
don't even act like you don't eat dry noodles too. This is a dry noodle podcast.
I can't. Like, he's like, I can't believe it. It was like pretty crunchy, man. That Kraft. Like, yeah, it was like my auntie in like the villages of Milan made it. You know, it's freaking Kraft.
Oh, jeez. All right. Well, welcome to Arcade Parlor. This is definitely episode 8. I have not looked at the numbers, but I think it's episode 8. Welcome in. We do not have a guest this month. We figured we're going to start off phase 2, just the 3 of us, lay some groundwork, and then we'll be right back to bringing in guests. But before we go, just for our listeners' sake, I know the cast has changed up a little bit. You guys can still expect the same type of podcast here. We are family friendly, adjacent. I don't know what we call it. But we're not going to be dropping curse words all the time or anything like that. It's still the podcast here, and we love to do this. And The format's all going to be about the same. We're all on the same page here. So as a listener, if you were wondering about any of that type of stuff, nothing's really going to be changing in that regard. So with that said, you guys like video games?
Like Pong?
You guys like them?
Like...
Yeah, sure, Pong. You guys like Pong? When was the last time you guys played Pong?
Been a while. Like, there was one on the Wii. It was like, it was Pong, but it was like air hockey Pong, and you use motion controls, and the white sticky pops wrecks me at it, and I'm stubborn. I'm like, all right, I got you this time, and it never goes well, and she is unbearable when she wins, so it's, I love that game. What was it called? It wasn't like Wii Sports, it was like Wii Resort, not Wii Resort, it was one of the Wii Play. That's what it was.
Wii Play. Okay.
There were some good games.
I have heard of that, yes. I have heard of that one.
I actually had, for my PS1, I had a game that was every Atari game ever on one game. And I remember, like, I used to play it so much, and my dad came in the room and was like, Are you playing Pong right now? And I was like, yeah. So my dad actually gave me some of his old Atari cartridges. I don't have an Atari, but I got a bunch of cool games like Crystal Castles.
Nice. I played one in my Segathon. There was, I think it was arcade. Yes, the game was called Arcade Classic, so it's kind of like that.
Yeah,
what you're just talking about, Ashley. But it was for the Mega Drive, as it says here. Or at least that's what the cover says. This is on my Genesis anyway. But maybe it was a similar release. But it was, and I played it, and let me tell you, that game, cheating. Pong cheats, 100%. I was playing it, and I had it on easy mode, and I went for 10 minutes, and the computer never missed a shot. Like, I was trying to do trick shots, shooting at the other side, and he would always be like kind of hovering one side and then just shoot right up. I played the game for 20 minutes, never scored once. But they scored so many times.
Typical computer balancing.
It's not a skill issue. It's computer cheating.
I think it was in Mortal Kombat 2, the arcade game, either 2 or 3. If you played 250 straight matches, and I'm not sure if you have to win every one, it's some ridiculous number. It would take you to a single round of Pong. And I think that's on the arcade, so I don't know how you would win 250 matches in a row. And they kept it up with 3, I think, was Galaga. Because Midway, who released the games in the arcade, had all these old... I think Midway was like a pinball machine, but they're like, here's a Pong game. And it's like ridiculous. If you want, it's there. If you want to do it and waste your life, go ahead and try. But that's why I love Mortal Kombat. Just ridiculous secrets like that and nods to like previous video games.
So many Easter eggs in, especially the early Mortal Kombats.
Yeah, I've heard about a lot of those. I don't play Mortal Kombat, but
he's not a fan of combo fighting games.
Those. No, I'm not. If you want, there is some video evidence of that out there. I could not beat. I tried every single character. Not 1 month ago. I went through every single character. I think it was Mortal Kombat 3.
It was.
I could not beat the first person on what was considered like the easiest mode. I could not do it. Fighting games, they don't work for me. I don't understand how people get all the circle left, up right, A, B, X, Y, Z, 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 up, down, left, right, start, and then you pull off a single punch doing that. I don't know how people do that.
Try doing fatalities. It doesn't work for me. The fatalities at the end, oh man.
They give you like 0.5 seconds too, and it's like this like 10 direction, like toward, back, down, up, left, BA, duck, and you're like, okay, what is it again? All right, the time's up.
Have you guys pulled off fatalities?
Oh yeah.
Like ever fluently? Did you ever get like fluent with it with the character? Because I assume all the characters had a different combo set, right?
Right, they did. Some were like character to character, but they always have one that's individual to them after like the first one.
So why I originally fell in love with Johnny Cage as my character, it wasn't a personality, because you didn't get a ton of personality from games back then, but his fatality was toward, down, up, and 2. And so you could there's no risk of accidentally hitting the wrong button and hitting the person. You just hug them toward, down, up, and he does the uppercut. And also, if you hold in every button when you do it, it doesn't take one head off, but it knocks 3 off as a joke. Because in the first Mortal Kombat, if you do toward, I think it was high kick or high punch.
Mm-hmm.
And if you did it fast enough, you could do the fatality twice before the game realized what was going on. And so instead of being embarrassed by their mistake, they like embraced
That's
it. It's
awesome.
like, let's keep it as ridiculous and stupid as possible.
That's awesome. I love it when developers just give in and are just like, all right, this is part of the game now. It becomes such a part of the original game that you just have to include it.
Yep.
I love that too. Like anytime there's a mistake or like, and I hear both sides of the argument too. Like when developers are like, no, that's not supposed to be in the game. They patch it and fix it. For me, I'm like, but like let people explore and play the game how they want to, and who cares? And like with Mario Maker creators too, some get so mad if you find cheese, and others are like, embrace the cheese. Like, no, that's cool. I didn't even think you could do that. And I fall more on that side. But I do get the other side, like, hey, I put the time into making this. I want you to play it the way I have it set up. But cheese is always funny to me.
It's so fun.
Yes. I fully agree with that. What do you guys playing? I obviously most of us we mostly play Mario Maker for the most part. If you look at our hours every month, Mario Maker will be the number one thing. Are you guys playing anything else on downtime or even on stream? I don't know. Ashley?
Well, really quick in Mario Maker, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I've mentioned many times the Get Good challenge that I made up to try to get better at Mario Maker, which is the top 100 most popular all-time expert and super expert level. So it's 200 levels. I am at 199 out of 200. There's one level I cannot get it, but I will. But that double shell jump, man, it's tough. So that's right. Yep.
It's I think I might have made this exact comment last time, but it's like one of those like training levels.
It's
that
a
was
training
just
level.
It's one that clearly was made when the game like first came out. So a lot of people played it because they were like, oh, let me learn the new physics because they're slightly different than the first Mario Maker. And that's clearly why it's in the top 100 is because it was just a training level that came out long time ago. And it's not actually like a good level. It's just that so many people played it because they were just learning the new physics, the new shell jumps and everything like that. And that's why it's in there.
Yeah.
And it's a pain.
It's a rough level.
I haven't played it myself, but I've seen it. It's a pain, some of the stuff they make you do in that one.
I will say it is very slowly creeping out of the top 100, which is kind of nice. So the day that it just pops off the top 100, I can't wait to say, guys, I beat my own challenge. I did it. I'm very honored. So far, I've made a list of 17 other streamers who have done the Get Good challenge, at least 4 of whom have beat it. So I'm super glad other people found joy in it because it definitely made me better at Mario Maker. Speaking of which, I actually, as of today, I have completed 2 Barb levels. Last week I did.
Nice.
Yeah, I did Kindergarten Cop, which took me like 4 streams to do it. And then I found his level, the Running Man, which is like a super fun, like each room is a different speed run level. I was like, oh, this looks great. I was very proud of myself. I beat that in 2 hours, so that was pretty good for me. As far as other than Maker, I play this very strange game. I know you've seen me play it, Pancho Taco, before, like more than a year ago on stream. It's called Wario's Woods. Have you heard of this, Cheese Pops?
Yeah, it was that's a Japan only game with the mouse, right? In the on Super Nintendo?
It's not. It's for Nintendo.
Oh, is it like the puzzle game?
Yes, it's the puzzle game. So okay, I had this game cartridge when I was a kid. Wario's Woods, it's called. It's for Nintendo. You play as Toad, and it's like almost like a Tetris-y kind of a vibe. You have to move around these sprites and these little bombs and make like at least 3 in a row. And I play the game a lot. I've been playing it since I was like probably like 4 years old. And at night, it is just like my favorite thing. I'll be watching like my nighttime favorite streamers, and I'm sitting there playing Wario's Woods every night of my life. It never gets old.
Did it come out on the Nintendo Switch Online?
Yes.
I feel like it is.
Yep,
So
that's how I play
if
it on my
anybody's
Switch.
listening, if anybody's listening and they want to check this game out, it's on and you're subscribed. Check it out on your Switch.
Yep, it's on your NES.
For me, I either get puzzle games right away, like, okay, I understand how this works, I have a plan, I go in, or I never learn how to play them, and it's a struggle, and my brain cannot connect what's happening in Wario's Woods, because it was on NES Remix on the Wii U.
Yes.
And I beat both 1 and 2, and I struggled so hard on even like step 1. Connect these two things to do the puzzle. And it's like, nope, let's fail miserably. And I spent the most of my time just trying to get through those, because you got to 100% those games. And even when I beat a mission, no idea what I was doing. I just went in with Toad spinning around wildly, and I was just praying it would work out well. Your brain is smarter than my brain.
You imagine, like, when we were kids, I know we talk about this a lot, but when we were kids, like, you had the games you had. We didn't have no online. We didn't have no go to the computer, play a computer game, like, unless you had a CD-ROM game, but this is pre-internet. This is pre-computers in every household. Like, I'm going to be 35 next month, so this is a long time ago, over 30 years ago, and I loved this game as a kid. It was like my super favorite. My mom liked it for like the puzzle aspect of it. And we actually play it 2-player when my mom comes over. We like to play that game. That and this weird game, which is also on the Switch. It's called Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. Have you heard of this game?
I have heard of it. I don't know if I've actually seen it played. I've not played it. I don't think I've seen it played.
Puyo Puyo. But
yes.
for Americans.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But for Sonic.
For Sonic, yeah. And that was fun.
But Sonic themed.
It's fun because, like, you go through the levels and you fight the bad guy Sonic character, and they had ones from the cartoon show, which was super cool at the time. And
yep.
Yeah, I like that style puzzle game where the computer is not just a screen. Like, here's a bad guy representation of it. You have unlimited continues to try to beat the jerk, and then I love those games.
There's actually a mode in Wario's Woods too. You can play A mode or B mode, and A is like kind of, I want to say easy, but it's not. Like B mode, every 10 levels, you actually have a boss fight. And it's super, super cool. And it's all different bosses. Sometimes it's Wario. Sometimes it's like some Grim Reaper guy. I don't know. Very strange game, but it's so charming. If you like puzzly kind of Tetris-y, Puyo kind of games, check out Wario's Woods on Switch Online for NES.
I'm really quick going back to add more to what Mike said about puzzle games. I like the first few levels of puzzle games where it's like you feel like you're smart because like I figured that out so fast, and then by like level 4 or 5, I'm like, I think I'm done here.
It's getting real now.
There's so many like puzzle games I've tried that end in that same exact way, and they're all like logic puzzles, of course, and stuff like that. It's just like the first 3 levels I feel like the smartest person in the world, like I bet nobody else figured this puzzle out as fast as I did. And then level 4 I'm like, all right, I think I'm done here. so many
Oh, I think that as far as what I'm actually, I mean, there's a game I'm surely waiting to play. But other than that, as far as what I'm actually playing, that's pretty much it.
Cool. Very cool. Mike, what about you?
Living the dream with Mario Maker 2, but I actually had I'm originally from Pittsburgh, but now I'm down in New Mexico. I had a friend come over. He's here right now. And what we did, there's a game on Super Nintendo we both had growing up called King Griffey Jr.'s Baseball. And it's just it's a fun arcade style baseball game, but they did not have the license for the players, so all the names are fake anyways. So we went in and we started a short season and we renamed everyone on our team. So obviously we're on the team. So you got Cheese Pops, you got Pipes, but the rest of the team we named after kids from our high school that like just we were thinking of the funniest names we could remember from our high school. So our entire lineup is just random people that from our high school. And it's so funny because last night we're playing into the night and it's like, come on, Brian Rupert, this is your time. And just saying these names of people that like we would never talk about again for the rest of our lives, and having them on our team. It's like, you gotta pinch hit for this guy. And so we were laughing and crying, and it made it so much more fun just to have that. That's just something we were doing. It cracks me up. And I remember before doing something similar where it'd be like 1 a.m. and I'd reach out to my friends like, that was a clutch home run you just hit for my team on baseball. And of course his response is like, don't text after 1 a.m. about a video game on Super Nintendo. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, that makes sense. But other than that, the usual suspects, Mario, Smash Brothers, had fun with that the other day. Might try to get back into that, but it's basically like Ashley said, like I'm waiting for Zelda. I don't want to get like start something new and put a stop to it. And like after seeing that trailer, I'm more excited. It looks like it's like the first game was what if Link was in Skyrim, which is cool. And now this one looks like, okay, let's add some Minecraft elements to it where everything interacts in a new way in this sandbox. And like the fact that Keith's eyes have the arrows homing. I'm like, what does a Liz, I can't even say their name. What does the tail do? Lizfalos? How do you say that name?
Lizalfos.
Lizalfos? I said it right. Edit that so I said it right, Poncho. I'm going to give you one edit.
Okay. Craig, you heard that? Edit that next in post, please.
Right, but I'm pretty much waiting for Zelda, playing Mario Maker 2 and hitting home runs with Brian Rupert, so.
Beautiful.
I have actually quite a few things. For the very first time in my life, I have actually never, ever played or even touched a Castlevania game. Believe it or not. So I went on the internet and I was like, okay, if I'm going to play Castlevania, where do I want to start? And there's two minds of people, it kind of seems like. A lot of people are like, just do it in order. It's going to be brutal, but that's the only way to play it. And then I was looking up online. I was like, well, what if I don't want to like immediately taint my judgment on this series and play something I'm going to die repeatedly over and over again because it's just old school, hard Castlevania. And I came up with playing Symphony of the Night, which I've heard is like probably one of the best video games like in general, like ever made. A lot of people just love it on PlayStation 1. So on my Mister, it runs the PSX core. So I loaded on there, runs beautifully, and I was playing that on stream a couple weeks ago, and I was having fun. That game's fun. Like the music is awesome, the combat, the platforming. I was like, this is a cool game. This is I've never played this, and this is awesome.
I would marry the Castlevania series if they let me. I love it so much, and like I'm not even mad that you haven't played it, but you are in for a treat. Like I love Symphony of the Night, the best one, when it comes to that Metroidvania style where level up RPG, you can like save and stuff like that, which is a super fun way, and I get why they went that direction. But the classics 1, 3, and Super Castlevania 4, Rondo of Blood is a must. Those old school 2D platformers. And what I love about it is that they are incredibly hard. Unlimited continues. Like Konami figured that out early in Nintendo's life, where like you give up when you give up. And there is a punishment for dying. You might go back a couple of levels, but it's never to the start of the game. And so there have been so many moments in that series where this boss fight, I'm sweating. I don't want to go back to the beginning of the level to have to fight my way back here. And so many good moments, and it's very hard, but very fair. And if you lose, it's because you give up. It's not because the game sent you back to the beginning of it. And one's not a bad one to start with after Symphony of the Night, because it's short and hard and fair. And if you know what to do, you'll be fine. But you'll quickly learn, if I do that, like once you know the levels, you're set. 3 is still hard to this day. Like if I picked up 3 and played it, it's going to kick my butt. And same with 4, but Unlimited continues. The best music. Best. I can't say that because Mega Man.
True.
It's amongst the best.
Yeah. Amongst the best.
And most recognizable.
Yes. And then the lore is, I have a soft spot for stupid video game lore. That's why I love the Mortal Kombat series. Castlevania is ridiculous nonsense, and I love it. And the more in-depth they go, the worse it gets in the best possible way. And it's like Mega Man lore. It's just all nonsense, and I love. I'm jealous that you're experiencing these games for the first time, but I think that was a good call. Symphony of the Night, starting with that, definitely the way to go.
Yeah,
I've also heard it's like the most accessible one because of the saving and everything like that. It's definitely like if you're going from modern games, if you're used to playing modern games, it's the easiest to jump into. I don't know if it's going to spoil me too much for the rest of the games, but I'm liking it regardless. And one thing I'll say, I'm impressed. And I think it was. There were other games that kind of did this too, I think, at the time. But I'm impressed. It felt a little ahead of its time with showing you the events of the previous game. It starts you off with killing Dracula from the previous game. Yep. So it's like kind of like previously on Castlevania or something like that, right? Lore. Yeah, and you go and you're OP. You beat Dracula pretty easy. You take a couple hits, whatever. But I thought that was really cool to see on an old PlayStation 1 game, where they're continuing from a previous generation of console that's not even a PlayStation console, no less.
Turbo
but
graphics.
They're just and they're just starting, and they're just, here's the story. If you didn't have the previous console that wasn't even Sony or anything, here's what happened. You do something really cool, and then they just neuter you right immediately to level 0.
Go ahead.
What is a man? A miserable pile of secrets. One of the best lines in video game history.
I have to say, for everyone listening, when Dave said he had never played a Castlevania, me and Mike Cheese Pops were sitting here just shaking our heads. But then as soon as he said Symphony of the Night was the first one he picked up, we were both clapping in the background. I think that's a great one to start with. I love Castlevania. I still have my Bloodlines cartridge from my Sega Genesis. It's a great game. And really quick lore, Bloodlines was my first Castlevania game that I ever played. And because I had gotten the Sega cartridge, and I remember I was like, this game looks stupid. Like, I was a girl, I wanted to play like cutesy, like fun kind of. I played Mortal Kombat and more Mario and everything, but I was like, this looks stupid. So I turned the game on, and one of the two characters you can pick in the beginning had my birthday. It was May 3rd, and I was like, oh, that's my birthday in a video game, and it made me try the game. I can't even imagine how many hours I put in that game, but I'm telling you right now, it was out of my own selfishness that I saw my birthday, and I was like, I want to play this now, and I'll never look back. I love Castlevania.
Meant to be.
Meant to be.
Now, share your thoughts, if you will, on Castlevania 64. I feel like that game is maybe something else. I've seen a little bit of it played, but I'll reserve any more judgment. I assume, Mike, you played Castlevania 64.
I own both of the 64 Castlevania games.
There's two of them.
There's
okay.
two of them. One is like the finished version. I think Legacy of Darkness is what it's called. Something like that. But it's Castlevania 64, but they finished the game. So it kind of feels like DLC, and it does run better. It does play better. It does make more sense, but I enjoy the games for what they are. It's just Konami made two big mistakes with it. There's one, and minor spoilers, but there's like a section where you have to be in this rose garden at a very specific time. Mm-hmm. And there's a day and night cycle, very similar to Ocarina of Time, but how they work it, instead of like the Sun Song, you have cards. So you can either make it midnight or dawn. And they tell you, like, be here at midnight. So of course you're like, let me use my midnight card so I'm not standing around waiting. The midnight card takes you to 3 a.m. This thing is triggered at like 2:50 a.m. And so if you use the midnight card, you would literally have to wait the longest amount of time for the sun cycle to actually go to get it. Which is, I played for like 3 hours. I'm like, the game is broken. And I looked it up. It's like stupid. I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that. But other than that, the other thing in the very first level is called the Forest of Silence. No music. This is Castlevania. You come out hot with like a tune or something, and like, nope, it's silent. It's silent. And the rest of the game has decent music. but they decided to open up with no music. But for a 64 game, B. It's good. It's like,
Okay.
I mean, 3D was relatively new at the time, and it's playable. It's fun. It's challenging. It gives you everything you want from Castlevania. But it for the people that hate on it, I get it, because it doesn't hold up well. But at the time, I mean, it's not as bad as what people say. And also, Konami can release, like, just a sponge and write Castlevania on it, and I will defend it, because I am a fanboy through and through. So, just...
Is Castlevania 64 the latest one, other than remakes and stuff like that? Is that the most recent original Castlevania?
Like, are you talking in the timeline, or
release? Like, they put it out for people to buy.
There's like two. There was one on PlayStation 2 that went in some characters that were in the. Actually, no, they don't. There's one on PlayStation 2 that starts the history of the whip and how Dracula became Dracula, and it is hilariously terrible, the story. but the game is like, that era was just basic hack and slash. So God of War, but not very good.
Okay.
Kind of situation.
Okay.
And then
so they went that direction.
I have one on the Xbox. It's the same thing. It's just a mindless hack and slash. But if you like Castlevania, you get that kind of Castlevania fix. And then they did the like spin-off. They made a game, and they're like, okay, this game is pretty good. Probably not going to sell great. So let's just paste Castlevania on it. And they redid the story. So it's kind of like an alternate universe Castlevania. It's called like Lords of Darkness, I think. And the 3 games, like 2 are on the Xbox and 1 was on the 3DS. They're good games. They are fun. They're different. The second one gets a lot of hate because of certain elements, as I said, but they're all competent video games. It's just, they're different. Basically, they make Belmont into Dracula or something. I love Castlevania. Okay, I gotta be quiet. I could talk about this all day.
I feel like Konami is sitting on a gold mine to release some original Castlevania for everybody with nostalgia, and it's been on like a modern console, not like a handheld or anything like that, but like a modern day. I don't know what it looks like. I would suspect probably side scroller with just as we've seen, there's a lot of new side scrollers coming out with amazing graphics, 3D. They're still 2D, but 3D at the same time, if you will, and they look incredible. Like, I feel like Konami is sitting on a gold mine, just not doing anything with the Castlevania, the title or anything. Now, they did just release a very popular DLC for, they partnered with, I can't remember the company, but for Dead Cells. And to my understanding, I have not gotten to that DLC area yet, but from my understanding, a lot of people are very, very happy with what they did. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're sitting on a gold mine there. They got to release, they got to do something, and they'll make millions off of it.
My hope is that, like, at some point they're just like, Nintendo, can you make something for us and just give us a cut? Or I don't know the company that makes like the Dark Souls games, but I think the Konami or the Castlevania universe and a Dark Souls game where just there's a castle, open world, random monsters
ominous
everywhere. Yeah, I think that would
FromSoft Castlevania, I would be all on board for that.
That would be my life.
And they it's funny because with the Castlevania, it feels like they use their property, but like you said, they kind of just piggyback off an existing thing these days. Like, they added 2 characters to Smash Brothers. I think it's 2, Simon and who's the other guy that was added?
Richter.
That's right. And so they were both added. And I know they're interesting characters. I kind of like them too in that game. They're pretty cool. But it seems like they just kind of piggyback on existing IPs just to like not necessarily make a quick buck or anything like that, because it's implemented well. The things that I've seen, but it's just interesting that that's what they're choosing to do with this once highly popular IP. And maybe they know what they're doing. Maybe they have something in the works. I don't know. They don't. You're shaking your head, Mike. They don't know what they're doing. I mean, it's Konami after all,
right? They just make
who is Konami
machines
anymore? Yes, who is Konami anymore? Because weren't they? I might be totally off the ball here, but was it Konami and Kojima? Were they working together? Yes. Okay, I was trying to remember if that was right until that everybody knows something really messy happened there, and we'll probably never see a truly good Metal Gear anything ever again. Which I love that series, Metal Gear, all of them. They're great. But we'll never. They made a Metal Gear Survive, and that was dumb. I don't think really anybody played it or anything. Yeah, they tried to implement some online elements, and it was just like, nah, you tried, but. You need when it comes to Metal Gear Solid, you need Kojima behind. You need him behind you need somebody who makes the most wild story that you only maybe understand 10% of it. You need somebody like that in the Metal Gear Solid world to make a proper game.
Those are so much
anyway. I digress on that on Metal Gear Solid. I could talk a while about Metal Gear Solid. Let's see. I also, for the first time, booted up the Resident Evil 2 remake that came out 2019, 2020, something like that. Mm-hmm. A couple of years ago, maybe 2018 even. And that game's cool. The last Resident Evil I played was the original 4. So I haven't played any Resident Evil since then. I know there's a 7. I know people didn't like 6. 5 is only good if you're playing with a friend. It's not good solo from what I understand. 7 is very well received, and because I got to give credit to Capcom. Their Resident Evil games, they try things, and it works. It's incredible. When you look at, if you line up each Resident Evil game, even the remakes, if you will, they're vastly different games, and for the most part, people are like, this is sweet. They turn out really good. Like, they know they're trying new things. They're going first person. They're going, fixed camera and whatever. And I feel like it's one of the most diverse IPs out there where they're taking risks and it's actually working for them. But anyway, I got on the Resident Evil bug because the 4th one, the remake, just came out, which I'm sure you guys saw some of that. Looks absolutely incredible. I've not played it myself. I just don't want to spend the money on it right now. So I was like, well, I have Resident Evil 2 Remake in my Steam library. I've had it for like a year, just haven't had a chance to boot it up. So I booted it up. That game's good. The remake is good. Like they made it modernized, behind the camp, behind the shoulder and everything. It's fun. I haven't gotten to like the Mr. X stuff yet, which kind of terrifies me just thinking about that's coming. But I'm near there. I know I am because I've seen some playthroughs of it, some people playing aspects of it. But I've not gotten to Mr. X coming through, which I think that's a really interesting aspect to the game where there's just this big guy just always walking towards you somewhere, and you have to just hope he's not going to be there when you turn around in a door or something like that. I think that's really interesting AI work, especially for its time in PS1. But so far I'm liking it. I think it's really cool.
It's terrifying. He is an anxiety generator in the best possible way, because like you're so used to, at least I can take, this room is safe. I see a typewriter. I am safe in here. I'm going to be fine. And then he just kicks down a door and starts walking right towards you. And you're like, well, that's not okay. I'm going to cry and run. You're going to have a blast. And those lickers are the most terrifying enemy in any video game because they don't have eyes. And so you're trying, and they make every hallway, Ashley, here is a licker, and here is this slight path you can take past it. And they know something's going on, and you're tiptoeing past them the best you can. And then you make a sound because you're scared, and you scream audibly out loud and just start sprinting. And they're so much fun. Capcom does do a good job with those games.
I've seen a mod of the Resident Evil 2 remake where every time Mr. X shows up, the song by DMX, X Gun, Give It To You, it just starts blasting. It's a mod. Every time you see him come through a door, it's just like, that song starts playing.
Why did Capcom not make that official?
Oh, it's so good.
It's incredible. Look up a YouTube video when you get a chance. X Gun, Give It To You, Resident Evil 2 mod. It's hilarious. Like, it's the funniest thing. Anytime he comes through the door. So this is not the first time I've actually played a game that has this aspect to it. A couple of years ago, I may have mentioned on the podcast, I don't remember. I played through Alien Isolation
Oh yeah.
on stream. I played it for Halloween 2 years ago.
Yep.
As the Halloween game, and that I'll tell you, that game is stress to 100 turned up to 200%. Like, I'm not a person that gets stressed out, but like that game, like there is not 1 minute. It's like a 28-hour game too. There is not like 1 minute of like, okay, I can breathe now. This thing is always in the vents above you. You can't even, if you choose to run, you can only do it for a little bit of time. Otherwise, it will catch on to you. And if you continually hide in lockers and stuff, the AI picks up on that and will start checking the lockers more often and stuff like that.
Freaky.
Like it's incredible. Like, the game is so well done. The atmosphere is incredible. You actually feel like you're in an alien movie. Like, they just nailed everything when you go like into the nest and everything like that. It's incredible. But man, it is a stressful game. And I know there is a way to play it where it uses the ambient noise in your room. So if in theory you were to cough in real life, the alien would hear it. There is a way to play it like that. So you actually, like, in real life, have to be quiet on top of the game playing.
Like, creepy enough,
like that.
man.
Yeah.
All the alien would hear is me screeching like a girl. Ah! I couldn't do it. Oh, I would love to watch you stream that, though. I can't believe I missed it. Like, the anxiety. I downloaded it from Game Pass, and I'm too scared to play it. I'm too scared.
It's incredible. It makes for a great October game, streaming or whatever like that. It's incredible to play. I'm a big fan of watching people play horror games. I'm not usually the biggest fan of playing them myself. I'm a big fan of watching people do them, but they are. It's a fun time. It's truly a scary game, even on like the normal setting. I think that's what I played it on, was normal.
Yeah.
But that's that AI. You don't see it that often where you have an AI that's hunting you at all times. And anyway, back to Resident Evil 2. That's where this branched off from. I'm liking Resident Evil 2 so far. I'm hoping to be able to continue to pick that up. And someday I'd like to play the Resident Evil 4 remake. I like the original Resident Evil 4 is awesome. I've heard the remake is possibly even better. They trimmed some of the fat, some of the excess things where it's like, okay, this is kind of dragging on a little bit here. They made the president's daughter, which of course your whole mission is to go save the president of the United States daughter. When do you think about it? They send one dude out to go save the president's daughter to some foreign country, and all they give him is a pistol. and his leg that can just like, yes, we're not giving you any ammunition either. And he's got this amazing back kick that can just like blow somebody away apparently. But that's another series where it's incredible, the storyline. It's so cheesy, and I very much am looking forward to playing that. They, like I said, it sounds like they do trim the fat. Like I said, you are saving the president's daughter. I've heard they made her less annoying than she was. I know that's a big complaint about the original and stuff. But I'm looking forward to someday replaying that. I've watched quite a bit of it, and it does look really fun, some of the updates. And they actually added it where you can aim and shoot while you're walking. You don't have to just like completely stand still and then shoot and then turn around, which I get that was the sense of stress or whatever you want to call it was added to the game on purpose, but they did modernize it a bit, and I've heard it works really well.
I will never forget when the first Resident Evil 4 came out. I worked at a movie theater, and the assistant manager at the time, not really big into video games, but I brought it in. I'm like, you got to try this. And he was hooked. So he got like a GameCube. He bought this game and he was playing it. And so he's new to video games and he's loving every second of it. But at a pond somewhere, like a lake, there's a boss fight. You're in the boat. You throw spears. It's crazy. But there's an Easter egg. If you go to the beginning and look in the water and shoot fish with the pistol, eventually if you shoot like 5 fish, the monster will come out and instant kill you. It's like a jump scare. And it's hilarious. I knew it was coming, but I told him, I'm like, hey, there's a secret gun you're going to want to get. You go to this pond. If you shoot 5 fish, you'll get this secret gun. Trust me, you're going to want to do it. It makes the game a lot easier. That's all I told him. And I'll never forget the text message. And it was just profanity ridden. He was so mad. He said he threw the controller. And I was laughing so hard, but yeah, I won't I want to try the new game just to see if that Easter egg is still in there. But I was cracking up. It was a jerk move by me, but I'd do it again.
I will never trust you again.
That's amazing. So good.
He didn't even know Easter eggs existed. That was like his first experience playing video games, and he's already having people lie to him.
That's so good. It's so good. Is there a better... Like, I think Resident Evil 4 has to be one of the best video game openers of all time. That little village that you come up to, like before the title screen hits, and you go through this incredibly difficult opening, which you're not expecting at all, and it's just survival, and it's getting worse and worse. And suddenly there's a guy running at you with a chainsaw, gonna cut your head off and stuff. It's like getting crazier and crazier. Like, I just remember being blown away by the game opener to that. Like, it's just incredible.
I think you're right. I can't think of another video game opening that my jaw was on. I mean, the first time I played Metroid Prime, like, I had goosebumps. I'm like, holy smokes, it's Metroid in 3D, which I never thought they could. I was super skeptical, and then my mind was blown. But if I play it now, like, oh yeah, it's just Metroid Prime. You're just playing it. If I put in Resident Evil 4 every time I start it up, it is the perfect opening.
And it's still hard, in my opinion.
That's what, like,
still difficult to this day.
I don't own the remake because, like, it's so good. Why do I need to buy the remake? That being said, though, Ocarina of Time is my favorite game, and every time they release it, I buy it again and again and again, and it's the same thing. So I'm just hypocritical.
Okay, these are great game openings. Like, great job, y'all. But have you seen the opening to Breath of the Wild?
True.
Are you talking about the Great Plateau?
When you do...
Is that what you mean by the opening, the Great Plateau?
When they play I don't want to say the opening credits, but when they show the game logo and they stop you and you get your paraglider and you're standing on the mountainside and it just pans over like the beautiful land of Hyrule and it's playing the song and tears are pouring down Ashley's face. Like, that's an opening.
I think it's a different. It hits, but it's definitely different. Like
right,
that's a cinematic opening.
Yeah.
The Resident Evil 4 is like pure gameplay. There's a little cutscene at the beginning where like the cops drop you off. He gets out. He goes pees in the woods or something, disappears, and everyone's like, okay, whatever. And then they just keep going, and it's like, and then you go into this village, and it's just like you're running for your life. And then I mean, I don't know. I don't care about spoilers. This game's been out for like 13 years, and then suddenly the bell on the church rings, and all the enemies just stop, and they're just like. They say something in Spanish, and then they just walk away quietly, and you're just like, what happened? And then suddenly just says Resident Evil 4 across the screen.
Those are both pretty good openings to video games. I'll give you that. But there is a hockey game on Sega Genesis. I will find this clip and send it to you. I don't know if it's Mario Lemieux or what, but it's just this guy skating, and the music's like, and he's skating full speed, and out of nowhere, this guy comes up and just checks him and knocks his lights out. And as kids, we're watching this like, that was unnecessary. Like, this shows us nothing about hockey. I will, like, trust me, it is the most out of nowhere brutal hit that I submit is the greatest opening in video game history. And
it's not even an NHL hits game.
No, it's just I think it's like Mario Lemieux 96 or something ridiculous. It's so dumb. I promise I will send you the clip, and it's ridiculous.
Sounds like a classic.
That's amazing. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like any other games that potentially could have a. I mean, a lot of them do have. I mean, I could even say Symphony of the Night had a really cool opening with what they did. You killing Dracula and stuff like that. We talked about that earlier. But I think it's so many games. Like, one thing I don't like about a lot of current games is how long openings are. I just want to play a game sometimes. And I get some of it's to set up story and stuff, but it's like you get your cinematic, then you get a walking simulator for like the first hour. You're
Yeah.
not really doing any action.
Sure.
You're just walking around, progressing the story, and I get some games it fits. Like I would say like maybe like a Red Dead Redemption 2. I mean, it fits the game. But I feel like a lot of it's unnecessary, and it's very just like an hour of tutorial. And it's like, okay, I just want to get out there and shoot some guys or something like that. I don't know, dude. I want to go jump on stuff. I don't know.
I think that's
And sometimes it's just like that's too much.
Resident Evil 4 did it like just masterfully, where it's like, and like Zelda the same thing. Like, here's this mechanic. Here's this mechanic again. Okay, now you've mastered it. Here's another way to use this mechanic. And it like forces you, it's like a hidden tutorial where the difficulty goes up in a way where, oh, I can do it this way. Oh, I can do this and this helps me. Oh, if I shoot them in the leg, now I can hit A to do a roundhouse kick to conserve ammo. And I need ammo because I've been running out. And then like Zelda's the same thing. Like I use this ice block. Oh, if I use it here, I can actually defend myself. And it's just really good games do not have tutorials. The tutorials are built into it secretly where you're like sneaking through and you're learning on your own. And then as soon as I get like a real tutorial, I'm like, oh, get out of here. I don't need that. And then inevitably I get stuck because I didn't pay attention to the tutorial.
Yep. Totally agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Same exact thing for me. There's one more game. I haven't played it. I've been trying to play it, but against all odds, it's just not letting me. I'll tell you what it is. It's actually a Rockstar Games, Max Payne 3. I really, really like Max Payne 3, one of my favorite games, actually. And I bought it on PC, so you can't play it like on any modern consoles. I don't think so. Xbox might have something because they have so many weird backwards compatibility things going. So there might be a chance on Xbox, which I don't have. But on PC, the way that they have you license this is you buy it from whatever store you want. And you download it. So it could be Steam, Amazon. Amazon will give you a key, like a Steam key, basically. And so from your Steam, you launch it, and then it wants you to download the Rockstar launcher. Okay, whatever. It's another launcher. So I'll download that. And then it wants you to connect your Steam to your Rockstar account. So they're both synced together, right? And then it's only licensed if those two are talking to each other. Otherwise, you cannot play it. You can't even start it. Now, the problem is, my Rockstar account I did this with like 10 plus years ago was an old AIM account, which AOL has purged AIM. They don't even exist anymore.
Can you explain what AIM is to our younger audience, please?
It was like the pre-AOL. I mean, AOL was still around, but AIM was you mostly got it for instant messaging, right? And it gave you an email also on top of that.
It was like text messages on the computer, y'all.
Yes. I remember back in the day with AIM, we had dial-up internet, asking my mom if like, hey, she should be going out to the store or something like that, and be like, can I connect so I can chat with friends? Like, because I'm going to use up the phone so nobody could use the phone, just so I could instant message my friends. But
so much easier to talk to girls because I was a kid and I was shy, so it's hard to talk to girls in person. But on instant messenger, I was a lot more confident to ask them to the dance. And like Ashley, you might remember this: the number one rule of instant messenger is if you're stepping away, you got to put on an away message. You got to make sure that away message has some deep lyrics from your favorite band.
Deep song lyrics. Like, I remember still my brand new and Taking Back Sunday lyrics from what I would do, and it had to perfectly convey your mood, and you'd spend more time thinking of the lyrics than you would away from your computer, and then you could save them, and you had all the beautiful like ASCII art that people would make, and the colors, and it was like your whole personality was your away message. I'd go away on purpose.
Oh, it was so good. And it had to be music lyrics. It's how people know what you stand for.
Through other people's words.
Don't judge us, Poncho.
Wait,
I did the same thing.
I have to share. I remember so vividly the lyrics I always put as my way message. It was a brand new song. I'm going to stay 18 forever so we can stay like this forever. I will never miss a party because we keep them going constantly.
I'm changing that to my about in Twitch. About me, just those lyrics.
That's incredible.
Can we bring that back? Just
Yes.
from now on, our About Me section in Twitch is our AOL away message. Just random lyrics that are thought-provoking and deep so people know that we have feelings.
One more tangent. I'm so sorry. What was y'all's first screen name?
I think it was just something simple, like I think it was just my last name and the number 7, if I can remember.
Wow.
I think I was similar.
Yeah?
I can't remember, to be honest.
Oh, yours wasn't Oops, My Bad?
No. It was not.
Clueless was like my favorite movie, and I remember I had 4 O's. It was OOOOPS, My Bad.
That's a good screen name. Did
Thank
you have
you.
like sound alerts too? So if someone messaged you, it would be a very specific sound alerts. Because mine were all Simpsons, and not much has changed in my life because that is my Twitch thing is still
Yes.
all Simpsons alerts. So if someone messaged me, it would be Homer just going "Don't," and I had those sounds blasted up. So if I was in the other room, I'd hear someone was reaching out. Oh, AOL Instant Messenger.
Very proud to say my Instant Messenger sound was like a 1 second Led Zeppelin like guitar chug. But you knew it was Zeppelin.
A lot of
Oh,
fights,
man.
Poncho. Like, my brother was on the computer, I would get on the phone to disconnect him, and then he would yell, and then I'd go up there and I'd get on, and he's like, well, if you're gonna do so many fights in our household. The Pops household was a battle to get on that computer
Yep.
to chat on AOL.
Yeah, what a different time. It doesn't even compute anymore that's how we used to chat with just to chat with our friends and stuff like that.
We didn't have cell phones.
We used to get our
No.
internet through the phone line. Like, what's a phone line? They don't even know what a phone line is. Like, well, it's the cord that plugs in the phone in the house. Like, why does the house have a phone? It's like,
Yeah.
Do you guys have a landline at your house?
No.
nope.
Neither do I. No, I'm not. I don't know anybody. Actually, I do know somebody my age who had one, and I don't know why he did. He was a friend from high school. He has one. He pays for cable. He pays for slow internet. He pays for the whole giant package. I'm like, how old are you?
He's
My
doing it
parents-
wrong.
My parents
Yeah.
don't have a landline anymore.
No, actually, mine do for emergencies. Yeah, they do. That's it. They never
Wow.
use it though. Anyway, AIM. So, Rockstar.
That was a
Rockstar
mistake.
launcher.
Bringing up
The,
AI to too late 30-year-olds.
Yes. Rockstar launcher. So, like I was saying, it licenses your Steam to your launcher account, which I created. My Steam is not AIM, but my Rockstar launcher was AIM. And I linked them together. And now that email doesn't even exist. Like, I can't even try to do a password recovery. Like, AOL just purged all the AIM email accounts, like, almost like a decade ago or something like that. I can't remember now. So I'm like, so every time I go to start it, it's like, you got to log into launcher. And if I log into my current Rockstar account, which has like GTA 5 on it, GTA 4, some other games by them as well. It says you don't have access to this, even though the game is sitting in my Steam library with a Steam key. I can like right click and I can see the actual CD key. Like it's sitting there and I can't play it. So, I tried, and I've known about this for like a year. And I've just been like, maybe I just don't need to play it. And now I'm really feeling like I want to play that game. So I finally decided to email Rockstar just yesterday, I think it was. And actually, it kind of sounds like they're going to help me recover it. So I'll keep you guys updated. They want like proof of purchases and stuff like that to prove that I did own that account. They want to see the CD keys with my username attached to it and stuff like that.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, I have the proof. We'll see if this actually works out. Because I kind of want to play Max Payne 3 again. That game was awesome. And you can't really play it any other way. I'm sure like some piracy way you probably can, which I'm not really interested in doing. But I own the game. I want to play it. I paid money for this at some point. I want to play it.
That's my biggest fear with how much everything's going to digital. Like, games that I have purchased, like let's say my SD card corrupts on my Wii. I have so many games on my Wii that I purchased and downloaded. I'm never going to be able to get those again. Whereas a physical
Right.
copy, my Wii might break, but now I can just put it in there. So I'm very careful about my digital purchases, and I'm super fearful for the future when they inevitably, and I get it because it's so much cheaper and it keeps cost down to us as a consumer. But at the same time, there's so many situations like you just described where this is my game, I bought it, and they're like, well, use this old password or your college email account that's gone, you
Right.
can't get back in, which is cool that they're working with you, but as I said, if my SD card corrupts, that Wii shop's been closed for a long time.
Right.
I'm not getting that back. Those games are just gone, and that's such a bummer and freaks me out on big time purchases. So I will be physical copies for as long as I can be, because the system for the most part relatively easy to replace, but games after so long, it's going to be next to impossible. That's a huge fear of mine. I'm old and scared of change.
Same. And I'm not a person who really uses Steam. I had one game on my Steam account, and I just recently started kind of actually paying attention to sales. So things I just bought Portal 1 and 2 for $1 or something. And I have Portal 1.
Incredible.
I have Portal 1 for PC, a physical copy. I have it for Xbox 360, a physical copy. I have it for Switch, a digital copy. And I bought it on Steam just because it was $1. Because I'm like, what if? Same. I did it for Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 as well, because I only have those as physical copies on my 360, which doesn't run so beautifully these days. But now I'm just like, dang, if Steam is having a super sale on an old game that I already have, I may as well just have everything all together.
Might as well. If it's go ahead.
I'm just Steam is the best at that. I don't want to buy a game. I'm in no mood to buy a game. I have plenty of games, and Steam's but we have 59 for 13 cents. I'm like, well, now I'm buying a game. This is unbelievable.
Right, and I only used it for this very silly game I play once in a blue moon called Papers, Please, which I love. It's such a charming but weird, strange game. But now I would always see my friends say, oh my god, I just spent so much money this weekend on Steam. And I was like, why? But now I get it, because there's such these incredible deals, and you can't say, how am I going to say no? I already have Portal 1 and 2 for 3 other platforms, but it's $1?
Right.
I have 30 games on Steam. I played one of them. The sales are too good. I can't resist.
There's definitely games I've bought on Steam that I own on other current gen consoles, and I have easy access to those games. But it's what if the access is even easier if I wanted to play this someday? And so I spend the couple dollars or something. I just bought. What did I just buy the other day? Because it was so incredibly cheap. It was. It was actually Left 4 Dead, the first one.
That's what I thought bought.
Yeah, I've played Left 4 Dead. I had it on Xbox 360 a long time ago. And then I had Left 4 Dead 2 for free on Steam. There was something years ago, and I was able to get it for free. So, but I don't own Left 4 Dead 1, which if I'm going to play one, I'm probably going to play, if I'm going to play a Left 4 Dead game, it's probably going to be the second one. But I was they were running it was okay, get Left 4 Dead. And here's how cheap I am with buying this game. It was buy Left 4 Dead for $1. Buy Left 4 Dead 2 for $1. So it's $2. The package deal. I'm sorry. The package deal was $2. It was something like that. But if you buy them individually, they're $1.50. Well, Steam, if you own a game, they still let you buy the bundle, but they just remove the other one. So I got the game for I think it was 79 cents. I got Left 4 Dead 1 because of the way that the bundle worked. They were oh, we see you already have this game, so let's give you the bundle minus the cost of the other one. So I actually got it cheaper than buying the game individually by 30 cents. It was something like that. I saved even 30 more cents. It was a 79 cent game for Left 4 Dead 1. And I was why not? Why not I have Left 4 Dead 2 for years in my library. Why not put the first one in there? I'll probably never play it, but now I've completed the collection.
What is it about being a dad and then being so excited you got a deal on something that you have to tell everyone?
Oh, man. It's incredible. I'm looking at my Steam library now. And then some people are going to listen to this and be oh, that's small. I have 256 games in here.
I have 6.
I got 30 and I played one of them this one time, but I'll still get more because the sales are too good to pass up. It's like 20 games, 10 cents.
I would say I've probably at least played 100 of them.
Wow.
Like played, like booted them up. I've maybe completed like not 100%, but like seeing credits. Maybe I can count on 2 hands at most. How many games I've like seen credits? Like not many.
I need to figure out a way to play Steam on my TV. I am not a computer gamer. Like
Same.
if I'm on my chair playing a computer game, it feels different, and I can't articulate why. It just does, and I've always enjoyed more being on my couch or in a chair watching a TV playing. For me, that's video games. And if I can figure out a way to get Steam, I'm sure there is an easy way. I just haven't looked too much into it on my TV. Then I am going to spend so much money on Steam games because the deals are good. It's nuts.
There's actually the easiest ways, if you will. There's a product called the Steam Link that they came out with, which actually streams over your internal network from your, and it just is an HDMI. It's a little box. It sits right underneath your TV. You plug it in HDMI, and it actually through your network. You want to use wired on it if you can. It will stream the game from your PC directly to your PC or directly to your TV. Or of course, you have the other option of a long HDMI cable. If you want the expensive route, though, it sounds like I've heard a lot of good things about the Steam Deck, which I would love to get someday.
Yeah.
Because you can just dock that thing. It's like a Nintendo Switch. Like that sounds like I would love to get a Steam Deck. I just don't. I can't justify the price right now. But it sounds incredible. Just being able to dock it and be like, all right, let's play a party game. Everybody just bring your USB controllers. I don't care what it is. It'll play any of them.
Right.
and just play. I don't know. I don't know. Just play a party game, Gang Beasts or something like that. It'll play, and it's just a good time.
It's one of those few like non-main 3 consoles that came out that people are like, "Hey, this is pretty good. This is convenient. This is nice." So that's one. If I had disposable income, I would absolutely have that. Just because
Same.
USB controller is super nice and so versatile. The amount of games that are on there,
and you can use like an Xbox controller. PS5 controller, you can use whatever controller you want. It works great. I think I will wait for like a second generation personally on it though.
Yeah.
But someday I'll get one, but I think I want Gen 2.
I do get the
personally.
whole sentiment of liking a couch game though, because not only is it nostalgic of like being a kid, but when I'm sitting at my computer playing a game, I don't know about y'all, but I'm sitting in the same spot when I work. And I know that Pops that stream is your work. So, I'm sitting at my workspace. Plus, like, I don't know, just sitting in an office chair playing a game, like, it's just not as comfortable for me as, like, sitting on my couch like a kid, staring at the big screen and, like, being awe-eyed at a game.
It's harder to escape. Like,
yes,
this is where I work, and it's always been, like, computers were for school and every job you've had. Like, that's what you use. And so if I'm playing a video game, my goal is not to be Cheese Pops or Mike. I want to be engrossed in it and forget all about my problems or what's going on and just be that. That's the best part of video games. And it just makes it harder for me sitting on a PC. Well said. Yeah.
I've kind of adjusted to actually my PC, like even my display and everything is better. Like my PC, my monitor that I can play like my PS5 on and stuff like that it supports up to 120 hertz. So the technology is better at my PC and stuff like that. I've kind of just grown accustomed to it. Like it doesn't really bother me too much. I mean, most games I play are technically on stream. I don't play a lot off stream anymore these days. I just don't have the time. And when I do have the time, I'm just tired. I just want to watch a TV show or something like that if I have time to kill. And so I'll be watching a show instead. And so most of what I play is on stream, so it just kind of makes sense that this is just where I don't even have any consoles hooked up to the TV in the house. Everything is hooked up to my HDMI switch in here, fed into my capture card, which I did just get a new capture card that can support like HDR and the 120 frames per second. So it is a nice upgrade, and. For me, I've just maybe adjusted to it. I don't know. Just took some time.
I do love like what you said. Like, you know what? I'm too lazy and tired to play a video game. That's my favorite part of Twitch because that happens often. I'm gonna go watch Ashley play a video game.
Yes.
And so, like, I still get the video game vibes, but I can just be vegging out, watching her take down a barb level, and just enjoy it. Like, that is, like, my favorite form. That's why I love Twitch. My favorite form of entertainment is video games. But there's times, like, I don't feel like doing this. Ashley, you got this.
Yep. And you get to hang out with friends. Even better.
Exactly. Except
Even better.
Beautiful thing about Twitch, like, it's my work day. I'm sitting here, I'm doing boring insurance stuff, but I have cheese pops on my monitor, and I know Pancho Taco is going to be in the chat, and we're all playing marbles and having a great time. So I get to hang out with all my internet buddies while, you know, I'm doing Sheila's car insurance stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Is that a comprehensive or collision loss? That's the important thing.
Ooh, with the lingo.
How about it? Better have that uninsured med pay.
Ooh.
I worked in car insurance.
I thought you mentioned one time that you had worked in insurance in a past life. Really fun, but let's get back to the video games.
We don't want to talk about uninsured med pay.
Oh.
One guy listening was like, "Oh, they're finally going to talk about it," and then now we're just kidding. He's
insurance.
Like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, that's I'm going through that right now with hopefully being able to play Max Payne 3 soon. I've been having an itch for that for a long time. The other thing I want to talk about, it's not about games we're playing right now, but E3.
Oof.
It's permanently done now, right? Like they canceled it. It was scheduled for this year. I mean, the writing's been on the wall for years.
Yeah.
I think ever since they opened it to the public back in 2018 or something like that. It's like, yeah, this is it. The writing's on the walls ever since. I would argue ever since that Nintendo pulled out of doing a conference, the writing's been on the walls.
Sure.
And then obviously Sony did, which was a huge hit back in 2019 or something like that. And then Microsoft finally pulled the nail, and now like even like smaller places like Sega and stuff, they're all like, nah, we're done. And now E3 doesn't they canceled it. I think it's done.
I mean, this one, is it done forever?
I mean, this is the first cancellation.
Yeah.
Did they even cancel in 2020? What was? Does anybody remember with the COVID year and stuff like that? Was it canceled? Was it just a digital event? I feel like there was something that happened. I can't remember.
The fact we can't remember shows you why it was canceled.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
it's so much cheaper and easier just to do the Treehouse, the Nintendo one, and then like place it, and they can do it on their own time. So we do miss out on because that's like Christmas for video game players.
Sure.
But now instead of Christmas, we get like one present every few months, so we get a lot more instead of having to wait all year. But we do miss out on that big event. But I think like the change now is like TwitchCon or GDQ.
Yeah,
that's the place where nerds can still come together and celebrate video games. That once was E3. So at least we still have that big event. But like it's a regret that I've never been to an E3 because that would have been such a cool experience.
Yeah, and it's like E3, I heard that so I think they made it open to the general public in 2018, I think it was. Otherwise, it was just a press event.
Right.
And from what I heard, the few years where it was actually in person and they actually had people gathering and stuff like that, people said that it was oversold and it was unenjoyable because it was just lines. You didn't get to do like anything. It was just lines for everything. And I think that's when it started hitting me. I was like, there's writing on the wall. Like I always looked forward to E3. Like I would book out, the 90 minutes on my calendar so nobody would put a meeting on, and I would go, I'd go pretend I was in a meeting or something like that. But in reality, I'm watching the live stream of. It used to be like Nintendo in the morning, and then that afternoon was Microsoft doing theirs, and then the next day in the evening was Sony doing theirs, and they were all incredible. It was like, what new games are we gonna get? It was just awesome. In 48 hours, you had this huge information dump of awesome games coming out, new games you never heard of, amazing reveals. Anytime Miyamoto showed up on stage, everybody loses their minds. It was just incredible. Or Kojima shows up on stage, and it's Kojima walks out of smoke, and it's just like everyone's cheering and screaming. Keanu Reeves shows up for some reason. It's incredible. Green Day does a song in the Bethesda E3 for. It's just amazing.
You have like Miyamoto coming out like a wrestling like intro with like fireworks and stuff.
Like when Reggie first came out, it was like watching a wrestling intro, just like explosions and smoke. And he's walking out. Nobody has any idea who this guy is. He's just this huge behemoth of a dude just walking in. Incredible.
I think too, like it goes along with everybody's desire for short form content these days. Like a big event like E3, you look at our Nintendo Directs now that are no more than 20 to 40 minutes, and they jam pack everything, and everyone gets excited. And like, how many farm games is it going to be versus actual games I want to play? No offense if you like farm games, they're great. But it's just people's desire. Like, no one wants to sit in front of their computer or their TV for hours on end waiting because they care about Microsoft more so than Nintendo, and everyone kind of wants to have their own thing, and no one wants to save it for an event. Like, they want to get their stuff out and let you know, and the little updates that we've been getting from all the big, franchise companies, I think are more what people are looking for these days than an hours and hours long event where you're waiting for the in-between, you're waiting for the stage to get reset up, and there's breaks, and like people need their short, like, it's this many minutes, it's this day, it's happening in 2 days, there you go.
100% agree. 100%.
Yep. I do miss the press conferences though.
Me
with
too.
With the stupid in real life skits that were cringy and horrible, but I liked them because that was just part of what you expect to happen.
The charm.
I'm trying to think. There's a couple E3 moments that stick out to me. One of them is when I can't remember what year it was. It was when Nintendo's it was the dumbest. It was like their big announcement or something like that. And looking back, if you look up videos, it's the funniest thing. Is when they announced Wii Music.
Mm-hmm.
You guys remember Wii Music?
One of the worst games of all time.
You just they would be like, hold your Wiimote up to your mouth like a clarinet, and then push the two buttons like Guitar Hero style, but it was like slow motion. And like they had like these people up on the stage, and they had this guy pretend to be a drummer who was an actual drummer, by the way. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head. Actual drummer, but he's like playing to the song, which is Wiimotes just like air drumming up on stage. And if you go back and look, it is the dumbest thing, and it makes me laugh. It's so stupid to watch now. It's incredible.
One of the rare, just absolute dumpster fire games from Nintendo. No redeeming qualities.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Like, you play it for like 2 minutes and you're like, I don't ever want to play this again. You're expecting like some type of hook, like a Rock Band game or a Guitar Hero, but the songs are all just kind of like classical stuff. You're going to play Happy Birthday for somebody on the clarinet. What? Like, it's not that great.
So I have a question for both of you.
Yeah.
So this kind of went up with Poncho said he would like block off time from work for E3. So when I first got into a corporate job, I learned a valuable lesson. When you call PTO, like, don't say what you're actually doing. So I said this one time, I am taking off Monday because the Royal Rumble's on Sunday. I'm going to party. It's going to be a ton of fun. And then inevitably, a coworker was like, hey, I'm really sick. Can you cover me Monday? Because I know you just have wrestling. It's not a big deal. And for me, it's a huge deal. So now I'm like, no, I'm gonna watch wrestling still. This is important to me. And so from then on, I had the excuse like, yeah, Sticky Pops has an appointment at the doctor, and I want to go with her to be there for her, so that no one can say, and that she did not have a doctor's appointment. Zelda came out that day. So, like, I have learned, to make sure I have a backup or, like, other excuse for why I'm taking off. So, Ashley, when you're calling off for Zelda, what are you going to say to work? You're going to be like, I got a dentist appointment, or what's your go-to excuse?
Thank you so much for asking this, Mike, aka Cheese Pops. First of all, I've had a week off for Tears of the Kingdom for like 2 months already. It's already on the calendar. I use my paid time off for nothing. So, especially since I work from home, if I'm sick, I just sit here sick. Like, why not? However, corporate jargon has now become part of my life ever since I've been in the insurance industry for the last 7 years. So I took my week off for Tears of the Kingdom. I got it off months before. And my excuse was, I'm taking a week off. I said nothing. Thank you for the claps. I said nothing. No one has asked me why. I just said, I'm on vacation that week. They don't need to know that the vacation is going to be me sitting in front of a TV or my computer playing and streaming Tears of the Kingdom for a week straight, and hopefully I'll get a shower in once a day. They don't need to know that about me because I am professional insurance lady Ashley, Florida, and that's how they know me. Yep. They don't even know that I stream. So, which thank God. But they don't know. So I took off for Breath of the Wild as well. And that job, of course, it was an insurance job as well. I never said why. I just said I'm on vacation.
Smarter than me.
Because they're going to say, like, God forbid someone's sick or whatever. Oh, Ashley, you don't need to play Zelda. What are you talking about? You're 35. We have emergencies here. No, you don't. Zelda is my emergency.
I hope we saved one person from making that mistake, because I made that mistake. You don't want telling you, do not tell them why you're taking PTO if it's for video games, because they will not understand. We understand.
I've definitely taken PTO just like taking a Friday off. So I just wanted to play video games. Like, I just wanted a day off, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to sleep in till 10 o'clock. Pre-kids, of course. And I'm going to wake up. And I'm gonna. I previously bought like a big old family size pack of double stuffed Oreos.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna sit in front of that computer and I'm just gonna play video games for the day. I've definitely taken PTO just doing that.
That food poisoning strikes. It's quick, you know. I got food poisoning, boss. You know, it's a 24-hour bug. I'll be in Tuesday.
Yes, it
Been
does.
there.
Yep. Okay. Next on our agenda is voicemails. We do have a voicemail here. If anybody would like to submit a voicemail or an email to the podcast, our voicemail phone number is 402-915-1082. You'll be dropped immediately into the voicemail box, and you can leave us a voicemail. Or if you'd rather just leave us a private Discord message in the Arcade Parlor Discord, there is a bot in a channel called Voicemail. You click that, it takes you to a private thread where only the three of us can see it, and you can upload an audio file there if you'd rather do that. Go to arcadeparlorcast.com if you want to jump into that Discord. And also our email address is email@arcadeparlorcast.com. We do have a voicemail that did get sent in just yesterday. Unfortunately, I cannot play it on the podcast, though, because the audio was quite broken up, but I think I understand the gist of what this caller was asking about. And let me read to you the notes I put from what I was able to pick up on it. Basically, this caller was saying, is there any game, and caller, if I have this totally wrong, definitely shoot us an email, send another voicemail for if and let us know that maybe the question was wrong. But I think this is the question, and it's a good discussion point.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a game from your childhood you would like to see remastered? And this caller goes on to say in the voicemail that if there was one that they could choose, it'd be the original Legend of Zelda. Some type of remastering of that would be really cool to them.
Yeah.
And then they said, you guys are doing awesome work. Thanks for the content. Good work is what they say. So this caller, Legend of Zelda, the original game, somehow remake that, make it modernized in some fashion, whatever that means.
Sure.
That'd be interesting to see. I think that'd be a really interesting thing to see. I'm not sure. They'd have to make some changes to modernize it to an extent. I don't know what that would be, but I'd be cool with seeing that.
Yeah.
See what they could pull out from that. I don't know. Does that? Go ahead.
They need to make it so when you die, you don't start with 3 hearts, because that's ridiculous. And you're in a hard dungeon. You die deep in the dungeon, and they put you back in the beginning, and you started with full health, and now you only have 3 hearts. So what do you have to do? You have to go out in the overworld, farm hearts to go back in. Just give me my full health. I've earned it. Don't make me waste time.
Farming and non-farming simulator games. The worst. Yeah, they'd have to do something, even just quality of life improvements like that. Maybe just make the original game, maybe make it the tilt shift style of Link to the Past remake, but maybe tweak some things like quality of life stuff like that to modernize it. Maybe that's all it needs, just something like that and a graphical update. That'd be pretty cool. I don't know. Do you guys have any other thoughts on other games from your childhood would be like, this would be awesome to see remastered in some form? And if so, like, what is there anything specific about that game that would be you think would be a good quality of life improvement?
I'll take the reins on this one. First of all, I know you guys are gonna say I'm gonna say Ocarina of Time. Okay, I know everyone's gonna think I'm gonna say that, but we got a remake of Ocarina of Time on the 3DS, and I'm okay with that. And it's awesome. It is awesome, and it's beautiful, and it's crispy, and it's wonderful. So I'll say another Zelda game. If I could pick I guess it's my childhood. I was a little older when this game came out, but I gotta go Twilight Princess on this one, and here's why. The game itself is so beautiful, but in my opinion, the graphics are, I want to call it hazy in the game. Like the whole,
I can get that, yeah.
The whole color palette and there's no crispiness to Twilight Princess, and the aspects where you have Midna and you have Wolf Link and you get to do all these crazy things with Wolf Link. Can you imagine that with like modernized graphics? The music in that game is amazing. The storyline in that game is amazing. And I think it never got its time in like the limelight. It was just in a weird area of GameCube and Zelda, and it got, overshadowed by like with the differentness of like Wind Waker and stuff. I know a ton of people are saying that they would love to see Wind Waker and Twilight Princess on the Switch, as would, I'm sure, most Zelda fanatics and myself included. But Twilight Princess specifically, I just think it has such cool and different aspects to it, especially the whole playing as Wolf Link, that if that got a modernized revamp, it would really give Twilight Princess like its day in the light for sure.
And just for our listeners, we do realize there is a Twilight Princess HD that came out.
Correct.
But an HDification is not a remaster of a game. That's just up-resing and making maybe make things look a little sharper or something like that. A remaster is you take the base game and you build it from the bottom up. You completely change some elements of the game. Think of like RE2 to the Resident Evil 2 remake that came out. Totally different games. So we should lay that out. So if anybody has any confusion because there was a Twilight Princess HD, we're talking about something entirely different.
Also, thank you for saying that because I would have been crucified. So I have the remake of Twilight Princess. I played it. I loved it. But yeah, if we could like totally revamp it and maybe like change a couple of the mechanics on there, I think that game would just be something that it would make it maybe even, I won't say Ocarina of Time because it's my favorite, but it would put it up there with like a Majora's Mask and like a Wind Waker and like lovability for people.
That whole era, there was something about like very low key colors. Like everything was drab and dark, and that's not just like Nintendo, like 360. Yep. There's a game called, I think, Rage. I've never played it, but you look at the 360 box and it's drab. And then finally someone's like, can we put colors back into video games? Like people like bright colors, and the next box is like super tie-dye and intense. But I'm with you. That whole era, it's because, I have no idea if it's because of that, but Wind Waker came out and us Nintendo fans were like, this is kiddie and it's stupid and we hate it. And then 10 years later, we're like, tee-hee, we were wrong. But Nintendo took it to heart and they're like, okay, no more bright colors. Blades will bleed. This has to be dark. This has to be serious. And I love the game, but I agree. Like, let's brighten things up a little bit because the character models are so good. The story is fun. Midna is amazing. Just like, let's add a little bit of life and then a couple of those elements. Like, let's not make the first 3 days 400 years long. Like, we're all Zelda fans. We know how to play Zelda. Shigeru.
Yeah.
FYI.
Yes. Yes. I think that'd be cool. I think there's some I like the description used of hazy because I do agree. There's a lot of games in that era. One that really sticks out to me is like Gears of War 1 and 2. If you ever played those. Great games, graphics great at the time, graphics top tier, but looking at it now, it's ugly. Not just because the graphics have aged, but it's just there's no color palette. It's just shades of brown and gray. That's what it is, and it's just kind of like
every game in that era. Why did they do that?
Yeah,
I liked it at the time though.
Yes,
at the time it was like this is a good game. This is a mature game. This is what mature games look like. And to Gears of War, I think 3 they did kind of course correct the colorization a little bit there, if I remember right. But there's a lot of games in that era. Those are just the first 2 that popped into my head that were very I don't want to say if offensive is the right thing, but very in that degree of color shading and stuff. Yeah. And they could do what they want. Maybe look at the difference between the original Game Boy Link's Awakening versus what they did on the Switch remake. They're not even similar looking at all.
No.
They could in theory, and people probably think this is the dumbest thing, but I mean, I'm just saying they could completely change the whole graphical style if they want. They could make it look like Breath of the Wild or something like that, or Tears of the Kingdom, if you will. Or they could make it look like Skyward Sword or something like that. Like they have the assets to be able to do that, obviously. Or maybe they just do something different like they did with Link's Awakening, just something totally its own tonal change, and it just works.
That'd be cool with all of that.
Yeah.
What about you, Cheese Pops? As I saw you looking
Princess.
behind you and looking at your game repertoire, I see a bunch of physical copies behind you. What about you?
I love physical copies of games, but like I'm a huge platformer fan. I love turning on a game left to right, and for me, like if a platformer is good, it doesn't necessarily need a remaster or remake. Like a good game is a good game, and for me, graphics only last 10 minutes. So for the most part, like I'm usually happy with what I have. But if I was going to think of 2 things that I would love to see, the original Ninja Gaiden trilogy on Nintendo, we never saw that evolve. So Mega Man and Castlevania, 2 of my favorite Nintendo games, evolved. Like, we got Mega Man X on the Super Nintendo. We got like 32-bit Mega Man games and Mega Man X games that like just show that evolution. So I don't need Mega Man 2 remade because I've already seen the growth. Castlevania, same way, like the original Castlevania games, even Castlevania 1, like Castlevania 4 is a remake of 1. So they've already remastered 2 of my favorite series. But Ninja Gaiden, you only get the Nintendo version. They kind of never took it to the next level. And I love those games. Very, very similar to Castlevania, but instead of a whip, you're a ninja, and it's super cool. And I think there was a Ninja Gaiden game on Super Nintendo, but it was just basically the 3 Nintendo games, no update. They didn't even give it the all-star coat of paint that Nintendo did with Mario.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the same games. And then it went right into the 3D games, which people love, the Ninja Gaiden ones. But we've never seen an evolution of Ninja Gaiden, as far as I'm aware, into 16-bit or 32-bit. So I'd love to see that. And as you can tell, if you've seen my stream, I wear a Pirates hat. I'm a sports fan, but I despise sports simulation games. I think playing MLB The Show is so boring. And I know people love that. And I'm not like, just because I don't like it doesn't mean it's not great or good or polished. But Madden, it's like, if I play a video game, I want it to be ridiculous. And I miss the era of arcade sports games. And so like RBI Baseball or Tecmo Super Bowl, NFL Blitz, NBA Jam, I love those games, and they just don't come out with them anymore. And the closest thing we get is Nintendo putting Mario Strikers out there. And Nintendo can't do online. They had no idea what they were doing. So, like,
Nope.
I would love remasters of NFL Blitz. I would love a remaster of NBA Jam with current players. Tecmo Super Bowl is still one of my favorite games. So it's a weird non-gamer answer, but I miss when sports games were fun and not just... It's like, I don't want to play Flight Simulator. I want to play Star Fox and fly around like a madman. And the simulations are so good now that, yes, it's very realistic, but I am not having fun worrying about where my safety is playing in Madden. I could care less.
Right. Yeah, that's I'm on the same. I don't care for any of the realistic sports games either. I had a lot of fun with like NFL Blitz was so fun. Blitz 2000, I think, is the one I played the most. We had it on the N64. NHL Hits on the GameCube was awesome. Just getting into fist fights, like that's fun. And I know there's other one. Yeah, the NBA jams, like you said, those are fun games and stuff. Even like there's NBA there, and there was two NBAs that were like NBA games, right? There's like NBA 2K and then Live. And I think Live was like the more realistic one, while 2K was still kind of arcadey in way more fun. Way more fun.
Give me those arcade sports games.
Yeah. For me, I have two actually. I think would be cool to see. And Cheese Pops, you almost kind of said it. I think seeing Star Fox 64. I played that game so much. It's not a long game, but I remember renting that game a lot, and it was awesome. I have not played that game in 100 years, it feels like, but I would love to see some type of, and I don't know what, I know they've come out, and we've seen the evolution of Star Fox to an extent with Star Fox Assault. I think there's one other one somewhere in there. And yeah, that's cool, but none of them were as good, obviously, as Star Fox 64. And I would love to see Star Fox 64 remade in some fashion. Like, that game was so good. So good.
I have a confession.
Okay.
I've never played any Star Fox game ever.
64 is the only one you need. The rest are good.
Yes.
They're C and above games, but 64 is just arcade fun, and there's like you can beat the game relatively easily, but there's multiple paths. There's so many little secrets. It's like I can't express how much fun it is to unlock everything and getting the medals, and then multiplayer was even decent. And if you unlocked every medal, you can walk on foot and tanks, and like it is a really, really, really good game that even if the graphics don't hold up, the gameplay is so rock solid. And the fact that the levels are just short little bursts. Oh, I cannot suggest this enough, Ashley.
Okay.
It's great. And the other game I think I would like to see, and I know there was kind of a remaster, but I would love to see something more modern, is probably the original Metal Gear Solid. I know they came out with the Twin Snakes, which was a remastering. There was more behind the shoulder stuff that they did with that, different perspectives, and it was a good game. But I would love to see like the current, like I would like, I don't know if you played what was the latest one, the Phantom Pain or anything like that, but like the gameplay of that, the controls of that put into the original Metal Gear Solid, I think would be incredible. Now, I don't have any faith that Konami is going to do anything. I think they pretty much dried up the Metal Gear name at this point. But I would love, or even maybe I'll even say this: Metal Gear Solid 4, only playable on the PS3, and I don't think there's no. And from what I understand, it's like impossible to port that game. But they got to release that game in some other way other than on the PS3, because people like Metal Gear Solid 4 is a great game. Re-release it somehow. I mean, that could just be an HDification for all I care, because that game still played pretty good in my opinion. But do something with Metal Gear. I want to see more with Metal Gear. I love Metal Gear. Just bring Kojima back, okay? Or just give him the rights.
So I had the Twin Snakes remake or whatever. That was my first introduction to Metal Gear, and poor little Cheese Pop's brain up to that point, only Sega, only Nintendo, and Sega was arcade jank and fun. Nintendo was super polished, but Nintendo. That was the first time where I'm like, okay, here's something different. Let me try it from the dreaded PlayStation, which I still never owned one. Why am I such a fanboy? Just buy a PlayStation. It doesn't matter. But like when like Psycho Mantis would read your memory card, and then you'd have to move the controller port, and the code is on the back of the package. I'm like, what package? What package? Where? I looked everywhere for the package, and they actually meant the game box on the back. It had a clip of Meryl and the code you needed to use, and I was like, dirty fool, and I loved it.
Kojima, incredible. When it came to stuff like that, incredible mind. Did you pushing the boundaries?
Eternal Darkness on the GameCube?
No.
So they did a lot of stuff like that. You had your life. That's the one I want remastered. Since you changed that, that's what you've changed my mind since you said about Metal Gear, because they had a sanity meter. And so if you're fighting enemies, your sanity would go down. And if it got down low enough, they would just throw curveballs at you like your memory card has corrupted and your save files have been deleted. And it would do that to you. It would change the video. It would go to a black screen and say video 2 to think that someone hit the remote. And so it would just mess with you. And the game got amazing reviews. It's Eternal Darkness on GameCube. The story is weird, Lovecraftian, and it has a lot of pitfalls, but the voice acting is incredible. If you get a chance to play it, it has a lot of jank. A lot of it probably doesn't hold up today, but that would be an amazing game to... I don't even know who made it, like Silicon? I don't know, but that's a cool game if you get a chance to check out.
Nice.
I know I heard of it and I saw it like at the store and stuff, but I never played it. I do remember one friend telling me about it. Like he didn't tell me much about it. He just said it was a really good game, and I was like, all right, well, maybe someday. Maybe someday I'll check it out.
Sometimes the enemies would just grow really gigantic just because you're going insane. And it just, the tricks they would play on you were so... The memory card deleted had me crying because I was scared that like all of my save files were corrupted on my GameCube. And it's just them messing with you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Again, for our listeners, if you do want to send in a voicemail, that's 402-915-1082. You can also do so in the Discord. If you visit arcadeparlorcast.com, you can get the links to all of that. And our email address is email@arcadeparlorcast.com if you'd rather do that. So if you have something you want us to discuss, just some thoughts you want to give us, or if you want to just totally correct us on if we got something totally wrong, correct us. We want to be correct in our podcast. So tell us if we missed a detail. And we're a bunch of dummies on here. Just call us a bunch of idiots and tell us the right thing. We want to know. Arcade Parlor, arcadeparlorcast.com. All the links are there. Roundtable. Does anybody have anything they wanted to drop? Actually, I'm going to promo something for Arcade Parlor right now before we get into that. Arcade Parlor. For our listeners, we are happy to finally announce we are doing an Arcade Parlor stream. What you're going to want to do is go to twitch.tv/Arcade Parlor. Give us a follow. The stream will be in, from when this releases, about 3 weeks. It's going to be April 22nd, that afternoon. If you want exact times, we're still working on the exact times and stuff, but follow us on Twitter. Jump on the Discord. That's how we update our listeners and stuff the soonest. So if you want to make sure that you're there for that, we're going to be playing a game together. And you guys on the twitch.tv/Arcade Parlor, if you want to come in and watch us do our first stream together. It's going to be a good time.
Hey, Poncho. Shh. Can we work together against Ashley, who is the superior gamer? I feel like that's the only chance we're going to win. Just don't let her know that we have a plan to have an alliance.
Absolutely.
I'm right here, bro.
Oops. Didn't know where to go with it.
Pops is just shaking his head laughing.
The deadly alliance is born. You're going down, Ashley, since it's all out in the open. We got a plan.
Root for Ashley, y'all, on that day.
We do have a couple of games that we're kind of eyeing, but we'll make that more known as we approach that date. So definitely give us a follow on the social medias. Jump on the Discord if you want the most up-to-date stuff, and follow twitch.tv/Arcade Parlor. That's April 22nd in the afternoon, US time zones. Ashley, Roundtable, do you have anything that you wanted to throw out there before that we maybe kind of hinted that we talked about that maybe jogged your memory, or just something we just didn't talk about in general? Anything you want to throw out there?
I thought I'd talk about something different today. Let's get into really quickly Zelda.
Okay.
Tears of the Kingdom. I won't say too much, but Nintendo released 10 minutes of gameplay for us to watch. There are some amazing new mechanics. In my honest opinion, it's definitely Breath of the Wild 2 in most ways, but they added elements that to me will make us completely look at the game in a different way. It will make the way we play the game 100% different as far as like what we see in materials and what we can do with them. And there's a lot of similarities. I think people weren't excited about breakable weapons again and stuff like that. So, but the new abilities that you'll have in weaponry and arsenal and just the different things you'll be able to do with your environment, I couldn't be more excited if I tried. Tears, I played it on stream. Actually, I played the 10 minutes of gameplay and tears were pouring down my face, and it's emotional for me just because I've spent over 1,500 hours in Breath of the Wild and I'm on my 4th playthrough. It means a lot to me. But you know what, Nintendo, you didn't have to do me dirty as a Zelda collector, because I'm almost $800 deep.
I know where this is going.
Into Tears of the Kingdom, and the game hasn't come out yet. And they came out with an OLED Switch, which I still have a launch Switch. So I'm very excited, but did I need to spend that much money because there's a Triforce on it? No, but you got me. You got me, Nintendo. Did I need a carrying case? Did I need the Pro Controller? Did I need the extra Joy-Cons? Did I need the Amiibo that I don't even collect Amiibos? No, but I got them all. And it's just nuts. So it's a lot of stuff. Right now, I'm actually doing a subathon for a 24-hour stream when Tears of the Kingdom comes out. So my subathon will last all of April. It's the only subathon that I'm going to be doing. You can find me, Ashley Florida. I stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 9 p.m. My subathon is going on all of April for a 24-hour stream when Tears of the Kingdom comes out, May 11th into May 12th. I'm also on Twitter, Ashley_FL, and YouTube as well. I put out weekly content on my YouTube, and I'm also on TikTok. It's Ashley_Florida, all spelled out. I put out quite a few TikToks a week. I'm currently streaming Super Mario Maker 2. Thursday nights I do go late, and I am doing retro speedrun world record attempts. It's super fun. So that's what's going on in my world.
Awesome. Mike, what about you?
I'm going to piggyback on that. Nintendo very rarely does direct sequels. They did it with Mario Galaxy. Mario Galaxy 2 was more of the same and great. They did it with Majora's Mask, more of the same and great. I'm okay with a direct sequel to a game when Nintendo does it, they do it right. And so I'm super excited, and people frustrated that hey, I want something different. It's you're going to get it eventually. But this is one of the few times Nintendo listened to us. We love Breath of the Wild. Can we have more? And they said yes. So to ask for that and then to be I want something different now. It's just let's enjoy it what we have. But I'm an optimistic dude, and it's Zelda and it's Nintendo. It's gonna be great no matter what. For me, because I like watching a fun stream, watching Pancho Taco play Yoshi's Island was a ton of fun. So I'm okay, I'm going to do what any good streamer does. I'm going to steal that and use that on my stream. So I have a 12-hour Yoshi Island stream to celebrate 1,500 hours of Mario Maker 2. And if you're thinking that doesn't make any sense, it's fine. It doesn't really, but I really wanted to play. And I needed a name for my 12-hour stream. So to celebrate 1,500 hours of Mario Maker 2, we are going to play a different Mario game. And I'm just excited. I'm excited to do that. That'll be the last Saturday of April. I think it's the 29th. And those are always wild. You see people do 12-hour streams all the time. You see people do 24-hour streams. I'm old. After 4 hours, I'm thinking about taking a nap. So it's always fun towards the end where I'm talking about my favorite type of tape. And I'll have a 30-minute argument on why duct tape is so good. And it's off the rail streams are my favorite. And then Yoshi Island is a fun game that I haven't played forever, and just watching you play just hit me right in the feels. So that's pretty much what I'm doing.
Awesome. I don't really have anything additional to add as far as roundtables. So I'll just, you can find me at twitch.tv/PanchoTaco. Playing similar games, Mario Maker, some retro stuff. You can also go to just panchotaco.com if you want to. That'll redirect you to my channel. The thing I will say is I'm going to announce it now because this will go live by the time I actually do announce it on the channel. But I'm also doing a 12-hour stream to celebrate 2 years of streaming. That will be Friday, April 14th. Friday, April 14th, 12-hour stream. So 2 years streaming. That's my 12-hour stream that day. So you guys want to, if any of my listeners want to come on, hop on by. I'll be there pretty much all day.
I love how weird they get towards the end. I'll be there, just laughing. Look at Poncho go. This is nonsense. It's so much fun.
I did one actually semi recently, and it wasn't for like any like celebration or something. It was because like I was having internet issues, and I was like, I haven't done anything in a while because I've been offline for like a week. So I was like, oh, let me just do a 12-hour stream. Why not? I'll catch everybody up, whatever. But that'll be it. Okay. And with that said, this has been our 8th episode of Arcade Parlor. I hope everybody listening enjoyed. We'll catch you again in another month. Until then, adios. We'll catch you next time.
See ya.
See ya. Have a beautiful time.